All right, we're back with Dylan Snyder, our local Jupiter, Northern Palm Beaches luxury specialist with Keller Williams Realty right here in Jupiter. Dylan, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me, Mike. I appreciate it.
All right, we're gonna have some fun. What I thought we'd start off with is could you tell us a little bit about like what the current state of the market is? Like, you know, from your perspective, I mean, the guy who's been doing the luxury market and on down for some time. What does the market look like for you right now?
Yeah, we're in a very, very interesting market right now. I've been in the business 13 years, and this is definitely the first time I've seen it in this condition. You know, we've gone from a severely distressed market all around South Florida, pretty much all around the country. However, now we're starting to see some major increases in the market. And, you know, it's the impact right now that the major challenge right now that we're seeing is the appraisals coming in lower than the purchase price, because in an appreciating market with a lack of comparables to support it, you know, we're having deals that are being challenged by these low appraisals, and you know, trying to get the buyers and sellers together, you know, to come to a medium somewhere. You know, has been a challenge for sure in today's market.
I was going to ask you what you felt the number one challenge has been as this market kind of shifted. So in your opinion, the number one challenge would be with appraisals falling short of the value?
I would say that's the number one challenge, absolutely. You know, number two challenge, maybe, you know, the buyers still believe that they can buy properties for 50 cents on the dollar here in Florida.
Some do think Florida's still on sale, right?
It's amazing, yeah. And you know, you know, you have to empathize with them, you know, because the news and everything else. But you know, we're really in a prime area that's turning around. You know, similar to say Arizona, California. You know, there are still certain areas in the country where you know you can buy properties for very inexpensive, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, for sure, and maybe even some select parts of like real remote Florida. But along the coastline, I think we're experiencing a little bit of a different market. Can you tell us in some ways, what do you guys actually do as a real estate agent? How do you overcome when an appraisal falls in short? Like, is there a strategy to help keep the transaction keep moving along?
There is, and you know, it used to be where you know you have one of three options basically in that kind of situation. The buyer can come up with the difference because they're getting a loan for the certain amount, so they can come up with the difference. The seller can agree to reduce their purchase price by that certain amount, or they can meet somewhere in the middle. Or option four, I guess the deal falls apart, which we never let happen if it has anything to do with me. But basically, you know, justifying the higher appraisals due to the lack of inventory. What else can you buy for this price? You know, if we go back on the market, if this deal falls apart and we go back to square one, what else can you buy? Is there anything else out there for this price point? And, you know, a lot of times we're finding that, no, absolutely, you can't find anything else this nice for this price point. So a lot of times the buyers will agree to come up, and, you know, sometimes they'll meet in the middle to make things work. But, you know, we seem to be working through it slowly but surely. It's a continuous problem for sure, but we're working through it, and you know, it's a very interesting problem to be having right now.
Excellent. You know, what I felt would be appropriate for meeting with one of our local experts is what should they look for when hiring a real estate agent to help them accomplish their needs in real estate? Is there particular things that a homeowner could expect from maybe working with you? What are some things that they would come to expect from a realtor who's going to get the job done for them? Yeah,
absolutely. It's, you know, there are thousands of agents out there, you know, and you can go to pretty much anybody who is going to, you know, do the standard, which is, you know, basically take a look in the MLS. You call an agent and want to go see a property. They're going to jump up out of their seat and show you that particular property. You know, and you can find one of those agents at any point of the day. We really like to have our clients come into the office for a buyer consultation first, so we can really get together a strategic home buying plan for these people, so we do not waste their time, you know, going to look at properties that aren't relevant to their search criteria. You know, so we really narrow down the specifics, find out exactly what their goals are, come up with a plan, just like you would do if you went to an attorney or a doctor. You know, this is a profession. So by doing that, you know, some buyers think, well, it's a waste of time, I just want to go see property. However, doing that, the initial consultation of 20 minutes or so is going to save a ton of time on the back end. You know, we should really only need to look at 5 or 6 properties before we find you your dream house. You know, and that's one thing we pride ourselves on. We also, you know, like to have a buyer's agent agreement in place, or we like to call it a loyalty agreement. So, you know, if we're going to put 120% into finding you your dream house, we want a commitment on your side that you're not going to go talking to 100 different agents and waste our time as well. And being creative. Being creative is really crucial in this market, with the lack of inventory especially. We have, any agent can look in the MLS and just pull the properties that are relevant to their search. But, going above and beyond and searching for properties that are not on the market, looking at the expired listings, things that maybe expired a couple months ago.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, they're not readily available, and also going to for sale owners. We scrub these lists every day, and we keep an active inventory of people that are willing to sell. However, they're not on the open market. So, you go to an average agent, they're not going to have that list for you. You come into our office, and we'll be creative, and, we'll have a list that isn't readily available, no matter what the price point is. Anywhere from $10 million to $100,000. We do know of people usually who are willing to sell, but they just, they don't want to be on the market. They don't want to deal with showings and things like that.
That's excellent. So what I'm hearing you say is that in this market, especially the market we're in right now, that we got to get a little creative. And by being creative is to find more solutions, find actually more inventory. Maybe not just what's readily available on the multiple listing service for each agent, but also going out and finding new ways to find other inventory that maybe yet, for one reason or another, just hasn't hit the open market.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's key. And that's a lot of time how we can get people into the office and show them that we are going to go above and beyond, to find them that right property. And then also you must connect with your agent. You're going to disclose a lot of personal information, financial information, so to have a good relationship with that person, to trust them, to know that you're going to work well together. And, we become friends with our clients. After the sale, we're basically hanging out with them at certain points and, following up after the sale. So we're with them for life, basically. And that's really our goal.
Dylan, you brought up a really good point. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about that, but you talked about a loyalty agreement, this buyer brokerage agreement. And actually, what I heard you say when you said it was it's a partnership agreement.
Correct.
So you're going to put 120 hours into making this happen with 120%, and what you're looking for is the same type of partnership in return from your clients.
Absolutely, yeah. It doesn't cost the buyer anything to use our services. However, if we're going above and beyond, we want to make sure, it's just like a marriage. We want to know that our buyer isn't going to go out cheating on us.
Absolutely.
And so, but, then these agreements can be canceled at any time. So if it's not working out, but, just something that's in place that shows loyalty. And
I like that. And that may be one of the keys to your success, that you actually partner with your clients to get the job done.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I just figure as our local expert in the Jupiter area, is there a hot buy that you could tell us about right now? Maybe kind of feature that particular property. Tell us a little bit about. You got to have one.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, there is, Mike. We have a listing right now that happens to be in Admirals Cove. Admirals Cove is a luxury golf course and marina community. Prime location in Jupiter, very, very desirable. We happen to have a listing in there right now where you're not required to purchase a membership, and there's very few homes that are grandfathered into that. So, the property price is $3,395,000. You have approximately 7,400 square feet under air, nice. Impact glass, waterfront, minutes to the Intracoastal. I mean, it's just really, really a hot buy right now, in my opinion. We've had a ton of showings on it, and ready for the right buyer. So, that would be one of my choice picks right now.
Wow, 7,400 square feet.
Yeah,
a little over $3 million in Admirals, and a golf membership is not required.
Correct. Yeah, very hard to find.
Boy, you certainly do have a knack at finding special properties.
I appreciate that. We try hard.
That's awesome. Dylan Snyder, Keller Williams Realty, right here in Jupiter. Thank you so much for coming out and coming on today's show. We really appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Michael Brue, Unplugged. You can reach me at 561-301-3287 or michaelbrue@gmail.com. Thank you. Stay tuned. We got some great guests coming next week.